What's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to try and teach you how I play Can't Buy Me Love by the Beatles. Obviously you've got three different guitar parts. You've got the acoustic rhythm sort of guitar part with all the chords, and then you've got the Rickenbacker 12 string. Unfortunately I've only got a 6 string, but I'll teach you those parts as well. That's like sort of the chorus, and then you've also got the guitar solo. So I'll show you a little chunk of each guitar part now, and then afterwards I'll jump straight into it and teach you all the parts. Okay, so we'll start with the acoustic rhythm, which is basically just strumming through the chords. And when you listen to the actual record, it's pretty like soft in the background. You know, the sort of throughout the verses, especially, you can mainly just sort of hear like a lot of bass and a lot of the drums. And like I say, the acoustic strumming along to the chords is sort of just softer than those parts. But anyway. So I'll just go through the chords. You're just going to start with an E minor. Then your next chord is an A minor. And then you're going to go back to the E minor. And then A minor again. And then your next chord is a D minor. And then a G. So that's the intro. With the strumming, and this is pretty much for the whole of this guitar part, the strumming is pretty much this the whole way through. It's basically going to be 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. So if I put that with the, let's say the start of the song then. Can't buy me. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4. So if you play that with the actual speed of the record, roughly anyway, it's like can't buy me love. And then you're going to go into the verse, and the opening chord for the verse is C7. And again, stick to that strumming, so 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. On my cover of this, I actually flick the third finger up and down on that bass note there, so flick into the low E string on the 3rd fret, back to the A string where the C7 is, so it'd sound like. And the reason I do that is because just simply because when they played it live, George tend to just sort of chug along, and he would do that. So he'd use that, he'd like add that bass note in. Whereas on the actual record, I believe the acoustic guitar just sticks to the C7. So if you want to just stick to the C7 and ignore that, that's completely fine. Because obviously the bass, the Hofner actually covers that, you know. Dum, 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 dum. But yeah, so if you, it's a C7, so we go from the vocals. So that's all C7. Then you're going to go to an F7. It doesn't matter how you play this. Some people like to have their little finger. I tend to just not bother. So F7. Back to C7. And then G7. And then this strumming, you're going to still go 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. So you're going to stop on the F7. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. So you're still doing the same strumming, but rather than carrying it on that start of the next strum pattern, you're just going to stop it dead on that first one. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. So that's G7 to F7. And then once you've stopped, much for money, you're just going to carry on the F7. And then back to C7. Next verse. And then here you're going to go back to the, it's like the intro if you like, but it's the chorus now. So E minor. Then you go to a C7 here. And then you repeat that, E minor again. Then this is the intro, so D minor. G. Go into the next verse. Then here you're gonna, this is right before the solo, you're going to stay on the C7, so much for money, F7. Then here, you're going to still do the G7 to the F7, but rather than stop it on that F7, you're just going to carry on. So, still playing the solo, so down, 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 then back to C7. Down, 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 down. So remember to stick to that strumming still, so 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and the last bit now, you're going to sort of play the intro again. Can't buy me love. So you end on the C7 there. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. Lovely way to end the song, I like that. But yeah, that's pretty much the acoustic part for you. Now let's take a look at the Rickenbacker parts. Okay, so with the Rickenbacker part, it's only really used in the chorus. It's used on a 12 string. This is a 6 string, I'm afraid, but I'm pretty sure it'll do the same thing. But I'll show you what I do. If you listen to my cover, you can hear, like, I've added effects on it to try and make it sound more like a 12 string. But anyway, this is what I do in the cover anyway. So your first chord is going to be an E minor 7, and you're going to, this is all upstrokes by the way, no downstrokes. So E minor 7, and it's going to be 2 on each chord, so that's your first bit on the E minor 7. Both upstrokes. Then you're going to do an A minor, back to E minor 7, and an A minor again. Then you're going to do a D minor, and just sort of pluck on the the 3 highest strings. The next one, it's the same shape as the D minor you're doing right now, but you're going to go up 1, up 2, 2 frets up, so your first finger starts on the 3rd fret of the high E string. Same shape, so exactly the same shape, but you start on the 3rd fret. Your first finger starts on the 3rd fret. So if I put that together, so it goes, can't buy me. And then obviously all the verse, buy you down with me. But then it will eventually come back round to the chorus, and for the first part it'll go, can't buy me love. Then you stop, everybody tells me so, can't buy. And then after, when it comes back in, la, you're gonna do exactly the same as the intro on the second part. La, no, no, no. And that's literally it, that's all you gotta do. And then it will go into the final chorus. Can't buy me love. And then the other guitars and the bass will finish the song off. But yeah, that's literally it. That's all the chorus parts for the Rickenbacker. So once you've got that bit nailed down, let's go take a look at the guitar solo. Okay, so with the solo, you're going to start with a slide. 3rd finger on the 8th fret of the D string, slide up to the 10th, and that's a quick slide. And then you're going to go 1st finger on the 8th fret of the G string, followed by 3rd finger on the 10th fret of the G string. So, and then when you get to that bit, you're going to keep your 3rd finger where it is, and you're going to do a bend from the 10th, and you're going to bend it up to the sound like the 12. And you're going to do 3 of them, so 1, 2, 3, and then on the 4th one, you can either, I'm not too sure which one it does, so just see whatever you think sounds best basically, but you're going to go on that 4th one. It's basically a return, so you can either start the bend and come back like I just did, or you can just start on the bend and come down. So you got this one, or both very similar. Just go with whatever you think's best, or whatever you're comfortable with. Yeah, so on that 4th bend, the return bend, you go, then you're going to go 1st finger on the 8th fret of the G string, and then 3rd finger on the 10th fret of the D string, then back to the 8th fret on the G string, and then 2 bends, starting on the 10th fret of the G string, and on the 3rd one, it's going to be another return bend. So you take one bend out, like from the first one. So the first one it's going to be a total of 4, and the 4th bend is the return bend. On the second load of bends, there's just 3, and the 3rd bend is the return bend. So I hope that makes sense. So far, you've got that. So. And then there's a little like rundown here, and you're going to start with the 8th fret of the G string, 10th fret of the D string, and then 8th fret of the D string, and then 10th fret of the A string, and then 8th fret of the A string, and then 11th fret of the low E string. So that is. It's pretty straightforward really. You're doing the exact same thing with the 1st and 3rd finger on the 8th and 10th fret, but you're just working your way up, down the lower strings. So. Your little finger on the 11th fret of the low E string. So if I just put that bit together first, so start with a slide. Okay, and then you're going to go right down to the top end of the guitar, and the notes are, you got your 1st finger goes on the 1st fret of the D string, and then your 3rd finger goes on the 2nd fret of the G string, and then your 2nd finger goes on the 1st fret of the B string. And you've got to avoid that high E string. It's up to you if you want to try and mute it or just avoid playing it. That's up to you. But yeah, and avoid the 2 lower strings as well. So just them 3 strings. The easy way to remember the shape, if you play a D, an open D, then go down 1 fret, and then move the whole shape up the strings, that's the chord. So that's how I learned to remember it anyway. And the strumming for this shape, it's going to be it's quite aggressive, this part. So it's going to be down, up, rest for the first bit. So it goes down, up, rest, and then straight after it's going to be down, rest, and again. So 2 of them, and then on the last one, it's 2 strums and a rest. If you want to do down, down, or down, up, rest, whatever feels natural. I think I tend to go down, up when I do it fast with the record, but it's up to you. That's fine. So yeah, okay, and then you're gonna go back up to the bends. So straight back up to the bends again. So start with your 3rd finger on the 10th fret of the G string. And you're going to do 3 bends up to the sounding like the 12th again, and they're all quite like next to each other, if you like. So 1, 2, 3. Then the 4th one, exactly the same, but there's a slight pause. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the 5th one, it's the return bend. So, and then again, to do the little bit after that, it's 1st finger on the 8th fret of the G string, 3rd finger on the 10th fret of the D string. So, okay, so again, I like to break it down, and obviously you might notice in my other guitar lessons I keep playing over it, but that's just how I want to do it. You know, just keep playing along with me if you can. So let's start from the beginning, get to where we're up to, just so you follow in a bit better. Okay, so from the start of the solo. So the last bit, it's like harmonised notes here. I'll just play it now. So so the way to do that is you're going to start with your third finger on the third fret of the D string. Second finger goes on the second fret of the G string. So that's the two notes you want. And you're going to slide that shape, so it goes from that position, and then your third finger will end up on the fifth fret of the D string, and your second finger ends up on the fourth fret of the G string. So, and this is quite staccato as well, so you're going to slide and then almost stop it afterwards. There's two of them, so you ring out the second one, that's it. So okay, so you've just done them two, and now you're gonna do the same thing but start in this position and go down, but you're gonna ring out these notes first, then slide. So this one you go slide, slide, play, slide. You know what I mean? Strum slide, like. And that, you return back to that, so third fret and second fret. Okay, so you've done them three bends, so you've got the two going up. And then here, you're going to go first finger on the first fret of the D string, and you're going to hammer onto the third fret of the D string. And then as soon as you hammer on, you're going to pull off. So hammer on followed by pull off back to the first fret. So, and then your third finger goes onto the A string, third fret. Then back to the first fret of the D string. So therefore you've got. So you can literally leave your first finger on that fret, so look. And then here you're going to do a slide, starting with your third finger on the third fret of the D string, slide up to the fifth fret. And then first finger goes on the third fret of the G string. And then follow that slide back down, so third finger on the fifth fret of the D string, back to the third. So I think the first one is like a quick slide, and then the other one you hear the note first, then slide. So a bit like earlier on as well. Then after that you're going to go first fret of the D string, and then that's your first finger, and then your third finger goes on the third fret of the A string, and then it's just one bounce there, like, and then you're going to hammer on from the A string first fret back to that third. Oh god, I hope that makes sense. So if I play it slowly from that part, you got. So I'll do it even slower. Hopefully you can sort of get what I'm on about. So I'll just play through the whole solo now, just so you can hear what it sounds like again, with all of it put together. So from the start of the solo. That's the solo covered. But if there's any bits you're unsure of, or any questions, or any requests, again, like I say every time, just comment it below. You know, I'll get back to you if you need me. Also, I really appreciate it if you check out my cover to the song. I've got my sister singing lead vocals as well, so if you've not already seen it, I'll put the link will be at the end of the video. But yeah, I appreciate that, and you can see me doing all the different guitar parts as well. So, but yeah, thank you for watching this video. Hope it helps you, and I'll see you in the next video.